Like a lot of men fear gold diggers and a lot of women fear like being physically assaulted, right? So it's like
Hmm.
we deal with different fears. Okay, Sherry, so my first question for you is how have you been? And give me the realest possible answer you can.
Okay, so I've been dealing with life, just trying to balance things out and
Mhm.
trying to um life goes things happen and life goes on, so it's like it's important for you to like understand that life goes on, but also check in with yourself every so often and like know what is working and what isn't. So just rolling with the punches.
Oh, so it sounds like you've been dealing with punches.
Yes, yeah, this month has been, yeah, unexpected stuff happening, and you're just like, oh my God, but you got to still keep going, and you're like,
Are
keep
you
going, keep going.
are you comfortable talking about those punches?
Yeah. So, about a month and a half ago, my grandma passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So we had to like fly to DR and, deal with that. So it was like a very difficult situation for like the family, and obviously like my dad is my dad's mom, so just dealing with that and like everybody being so sad and like it was a lot, and I was not it was like very unexpected. It was out of nowhere, and then it's like I just started doing like stand-up comedy, so I've been like on like, yeah, so I've been like doing what I have to do, but then it's like I'm like grieving also, but it's like I still got to keep doing what I have to do, but it's just like that whole um checking in with yourself aspect of things, and just sometimes things that are a little too much, sometimes you could do something but not so much, so yeah.
Yeah, no, you gave me a lot to respond to.
Yeah.
Sometimes like I don't do enough research on my new guests. I didn't know you were a stand-up comedian. That's amazing, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because like stand-up comedians, they're always supposed to be funny and they're expected to be happy, and nobody sees what they're going through behind closed doors. So really
Hmm.
good examples: Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, and you apparently. And all my grandparents are gone. The two of them actually passed away this year, and so I know what it feels like. It feels like just this darkness just takes over the whole family, kind of like this dark cloud just like comes
Hmm.
over the whole family. And I'm really curious as to because sometimes men are very like suppress emotions and they don't express their emotions. So I'm really curious as to how your father was coping and how he was expressing his emotions.
So my dad, he's me and my dad have like very similar personality, and
Hmm.
my dad is like a very like jokey. He's always joking around, like he's just a funny guy, like always like in good spirits.
Hmm.
And he lost it. Like he just I never seen my dad like that. I was just like, and I couldn't honestly. I'm like I tried, but I just every time I saw him crying, and this sounds fucked up, I just kind of I was like I can't. I had to like go a step out because me and him are just very alike.
Hmm.
So me seeing him like that, I'm like, damn. And then I was like lost it too because I'm like, fuck, like so it was a lot, but this like I feel like he kind of was just responding, but just like he was just is his mom, it's like at the end of the day, um but yeah, but he's my dad is like very like self-aware, and like obviously like he kind of masks his emotions, because man, and it's like you're in front of your kids,
Yeah.
so it's like you always got to be like strong for everyone, and no, you don't. Like it's okay for you to cry, it's okay to let it out, like especially within the Hispanic community, like
Hmm.
I feel like men are just expected to be like all this macho, like, oh,
Yeah.
but it's like you literally just lost your mom, like it.
Machismo. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had this conversation with many people, and I'm really happy you brought it up because, men are very often expected to hold in their feelings, to be tough, to not cry. And this might sound a little weird, but I'm really happy that your dad like let it out because it's so much
Mm-hmm.
more healthy to let it out as opposed to bottle up. And,
Yeah.
even women, like I've spoken to women whose parents told them like you got to be strong, like you got to suck it up, like you can't be crying in front of your sister. I've heard that before, and like it's really like people need to understand, and I feel like this is something that the older generations do. Like they're really about like bottling up emotions, whereas I feel like millennials like myself and Gen Z, that we tend to like let it out more, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Are you Hispanic?
I'm actually Filipino.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, but Spain owned the Philippines for many years, and a lot of like the language is similar, the food is similar, and I also just have a lot
The
of.
last names too. A lot of Filipino have like a Spanish last
Yeah,
name.
my last name is San Pascual, and
Yeah.
a lot of my friends are Hispanic, and a lot of my guests are Hispanic. So I'm pretty familiar with that whole like you gotta be strong mentality. So yeah, I mean, how long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
So I've been doing sketch comedy on Instagram for about 7 years, and then stand up comedy. Seriously, I just started like in March.
Okay, that must
Yeah,
be that must
like
be
taking it serious. Like yeah, in March. Yeah.
that must be tough, stand-up comedy.
Yeah, it is, but it was something that I've always wanted to do even since I started doing sketch. Like I always wanted to do stand up comedy, but I was just always like kind of like scared and nervous, and then I also didn't really know exactly like the way, and then do content creating is also like a lot of work. And you also have your life, your personal life and things that you have to do for yourself. Um so it was just a little bit like difficult to navigate, but like this year I was just like, you know what, like I'm just gonna go for it because it's like, what's the worst that could happen, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it takes a tremendous amount of confidence to get up on that stage, and I'm really wondering, like, how did your first show go compared to your last show?
My first show compared to my last show,
Sure.
what was my first show? I don't even remember what was my first show. You know what? I honestly, like, obviously now, like, looking at my last show, like, my last show was so good. But, like, my first show was still good because the thing is that, like, obviously this one is better. But, like, not to, like, boast and, like, think, but it's like with stand up right now, like, I already have the writing part. The only thing I was missing was the stage aspect of it
Mhm.
because I write a lot. I write my own sketches. Like, I don't, like, I'm not just doing bullshit. Like if you go through my page, you'll see like all my sketches are like written out. Like you can tell that they're thought like through. It's not just like bullshit. You feel me?
Yeah.
So like the writing aspect of it, I've had it. It was just having to structure it into like a setup. I mean, like into a stand up like way, and like obviously being on stage, being in front of people, the memorizing aspect. So like for my first show, like I have videos. It was good. It was just like I was talking fast. I was like, cause I'm
Yeah,
quick. But
I
then
see
now
that.
I'm taking my time. I'm like, okay, you see, like I see that it's good, but this is way better. Like
Yeah, so
so.
what I'm hearing is that you've always, or at least for a long time, been a good writer, but not necessarily. You still had to work on like your basically. I don't know if acting is the right word, but your stage presence.
The stage, yeah, the stage presence aspect, because also like for me it was like I used to do theater in high school, and I've always been very like stage like friendly, like oh my god, I like to be on stage, but
Uh-huh.
with somebody telling me what to do, or lines that I had to memorize.
Yeah,
The difference now is that this is my own work, my baby that I wrote
yeah,
myself,
yeah.
that I'm like sharing in front of people. So that was like and then I feel like being like doing sketch comedy online, it's a bit of a like, because it's online, it's not so like confrontational because it's online, so you're just posting. I could just get off my phone and that's it. But with stand up, you're there live. Like there's no cuts, there's no edits, there's no, oh, I'm gonna come back, I don't want to work on this right now, oh let me post and leave. No, it's like there, like people are like a real, like real time reaction. So that to me was a bit like,
Yeah, it's
but
scary because you can't. It's not like online where you can just edit out. Like if you mess up while recording, you edit it out.
yeah.
Whereas face to face, there is no rewinding
Yeah,
time.
you gotta just keep it going.
There's
Also, oh no, oh my god, I've been forgetting about this show. So my first show, I'm lying, I'm such a liar. Oh my god, I'm sorry. So my first show that I actually did, right, was I was supposed to be on stage for 10 minutes, right, which is so bad for like a stand up comic. Like as a stand up comic, you should start off 5 minutes because
Oh
you're
wow.
new.
Okay.
So yeah, you're supposed to start off 5 minutes because you're new, right?
Uh-huh.
So the first show that I did, it was 3 years ago, and I did and I was supposed to do 10 minutes, and I like wrote a set, like I memorized the whole set, whatever, everything. I'm like rehearsing in my house and everything was fine. When I got on the stage at the show, there was like probably like 100 and something people there, and 3 minutes in, I just blacked out and I forgot my
Ooh.
whole lines. I forgot everything. I forgot everything. I'm like, fuck. Oh my god. And then I'm like, there, like I like, and then my friend that knew what I was gonna say, he's like, just get off, get off. And then everybody thought I was joking.
He
because
said
they
get
would
off.
just see.
That's a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, exactly. That was so bad at the time, but now it's like whatever. You live and you learn. So he's like, because he knew what happened, so he was just like, and I was like, all right, guys, that's my time. Woo! And everybody thought it was like part of the joke, because I'm just there like, fuck, 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 and everybody just thought, but it was like I blacked out completely. So then I just got off stage, and then like 3 years later, then now I started like again, and then I started because I'm thinking about the first show like that I did a few months ago, but it's
Yeah.
like no, that wasn't your first.
So you literally just walked off stage in the middle of the set?
I mean, I was just like, oh, guys, that's my time. Like, thank you. Like, and I just got off.
Okay, so at least you said goodbye at the very
Yeah, yeah,
least.
no, I didn't just get off. No, no, no. I did my whole little thing. I was like, the thing. And then I'm like, all right, guys, I got to get off. Like, I forgot everything. Like, and then I just got off. And then the show just kept going. But nobody really noticed, like, that much. Like, nobody really, like, except for my friends that knew what I was going to say for real. So,
I think the key is to not pay too much attention to like the crowd. Like what I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I would imagine is like there were thoughts in your head about like how many people there were, or like basically like the setting. Is that right?
it was a lot. It was that there's like a psychological component to it. So
Uh,
it was the fact that I was there, right? And there's a show. It was a few comedians. It was a couple of content creator comedians, right? So one of the guy, when he brings me up, he's like, oh yeah, yeah, I know her from Instagram, this and that, and a bunch of people started cheering, which I was like, because I'm thinking everybody's there, but everyone, like, apparently a lot of people that were there were also there to see me, and I'm just like, and then it was just like a lot, and I was just like, oh, and I was like not expecting that. Like it was like a lot of pressure, and I was just like, oh my god. And then also with stand up, like you have your sets planned, but then you also have to plan in case things derail to
yeah,
another way.
yeah.
You also have to plan for that in your head.
Mhm.
So me in my head, I just had my set planned, and I was like, oh, this is not. This is I forgot what was the next like thing, but it's like now I understand that even if I forgot a line or whatever, I could just do whatever I remembered or like make a joke in between and then I could bring it back. But at that time I didn't really I just was like, oh, I did my set, I did
Yeah.
it wrong. And also another thing is that nobody knows what you're gonna say.
Yep.
You can say whatever you want.
Mhm.
Nobody's gonna be like, oh, that's not the line that goes.
Right.
You're the only one that knows. So sometimes you yourself are like, I did this wrong, I fucked up, but it's like nobody knows that you're like. So
Right.
just now I know how to clean it up. Now I'm like, I forget lines all the time. I go up and I literally forget lines all the time. I skipped jokes, and then at the end I'm like, oh, I missed that joke. Oh, but then I'm like, okay, next time I'll remember it.
Yep,
Like,
yep. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that as a stand-up comedian, you have to be able to improvise, especially because you're going to deal with hecklers, right? You're going to
yeah,
deal with
exactly.
hecklers, and you're going to deal with, maybe even like people not laughing at a joke that you thought they would laugh at, and stuff like that. So, and I'm really curious, what inspired you to pursue comedy?
I've always been like the funny girl, always been like very like sporadic, like funny, making jokes. So when I started doing sketch, I started first like doing videos with my dad, like messing with my dad.
Hmm.
And it was because I was helping my sister. So I'm like, oh, let me do this is fun. Like I mess with my dad anyway. Let me just record it. So I started doing that. But then I'm like, I'm like, I have like, and then I had all these other ideas of like things that I wanted to do, like sketches. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna start doing my own sketch stuff. And I just started posting online, and it just started taking off from there. But like, I think that it was something that was always inside me that I always wanted to like pursue, and I just didn't really see comedy as like a real like thing that you could just do.
Hmm.
But then social media is out, and it's like you see all these people doing these sketches and things. And it's like, okay, I this is fun. I would like to do that, and it's an outlet for me. It's like a very therapeutic thing for me to like express myself in the comedy aspect, because it's like I feel like comedy is so healing. I feel like sometimes I'm sad or like something's going on in my life or whatever. And I'm like, let me go do now it's like I need to go on stage and talk about this, or let me do a sketch about this. This will be funny. Or let me do a sketch about something else, and it kind of takes your mind off of it. So it's like I feel like it's important for people to find like their vice, what they like, whether it's music, whether it's you going on a walk, working out, or whatever. Just find your like outlet to express yourself, because I feel like it's also good for your mental health.
Definitely, yeah. They say laughter is the best
It,
medicine, and what I'm
exactly.
hearing is not only is laughter the best medicine, but making other people laugh is the best medicine.
Hmm.
Because I mean, it sounds to me like you said. I love the fact that you use the word therapeutic. It sounds to me like you sometimes take maybe the negative energy in your head and like some pain and you express it through comedy.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a really interesting topic to me. And it's funny because we wrote down some topics before this, but I'm so
I
curious.
told you as soon as we started talking, it was gonna go. Cause this is. Let me tell you something. This is like I went to school for psychology, and I'm
Oh,
very yes, and I'm very into personal development. Like I read personal development books. Like I've been reading books for like 10 years, just of different topics. Like this is like my turf right here. Besides comedy, is like comedy and personal development.
interesting. Well, I mean, it sounds to me like they're very intertwined in your life. It sounds
Yeah.
like you figured out your identity. Like for
Hmm.
example, I'll give you an example. I
Yeah.
didn't realize I wanted to be a therapist until last year when I was 35. So,
Oh wow.
sometimes we figure out our dreams a little bit late. Sometimes
And that's okay.
and that's okay. It's better late than never, right? And what's sad is sometimes I feel like people never figure it out. So,
Hmm.
at what age did you realize like I want to be a comedian?
I think like again, this is something that was always I knew it was something in the entertainment space. Cause like since I was a little girl, I was always like, oh my god, novelas, like wow, like I would love to be on TV, like this
Mhm.
is so cool.
Mhm.
Whenever they will have a play or something going on in school, they would always put me like, oh yeah, just she likes to like just put her like in the front or whatever. And then like life happens and you kind of get older and it's like you gotta be real like with yourself, like okay, I gotta get a real job, I gotta do real stuff.
Yeah.
But then like a couple years ago, like 7 years ago, I'm like, you know what, like I feel like unfulfilled, like I feel like I'm supposed to be doing other things as well, like I'm not supposed to just be working and just being bored, like whatever. And then I started doing like content and I'm like, I love this, like
Yeah, I mean, even if I mean, I would imagine that in the very, very beginning, you weren't getting many views because you just started, or am I wrong? Like, did you blow up right away?
no, so in the beginning, it was just my friends and like friends of friends, like people that knew me that was
Uh-huh.
like, like
Uh-huh.
like with my content. Then little by little, like 2019, I got to like 10K followers, and it was like I would get like a lot of views for like that little bit of following because I didn't have like the following, but like the views would like go or whatever.
Hmm.
And then little by little, I started like building, 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 building.
Yeah,
But yeah, in the beginning, I was like, okay, whatever. Like the first couple months, I'm like, okay, whatever. But then after I'm like, oh damn, like this is like people, okay, for this time, like for this little bit of following, like okay,
yeah, right. I mean, the beginning is like the experimenting phase, right? Like
yeah.
even I've been doing this podcast for like a year and a half, and I'm still learning. Like I just said, I just switched to Riverside, so I was using Zoom for like this whole time. This is only my
Hmm.
second time using Riverside, and it's a lot higher quality. I didn't even know about it. I just like read about it. So
Okay.
so it sounds like comedy. Is that your full-time job?
No, I have a regular job. Yeah, not yet, not yet. It's not my full time job yet,
But you're getting there.
but I'm
That's the
getting there.
dream.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the dream, I assume.
Yes, yes, for sure.
And just wondering, are you the oldest sibling? I don't know how I knew that. So
Damn.
what is your understanding of how I knew that?
I guess because of my conversation, maybe. I don't know. I just sound very. I don't know.
I don't know. You come across as like kind of like dominant.
Okay, I see that. I could. Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
like how so you have I don't know how I just do it. I just got the vibes. So
That's
you
so
you have
funny.
a younger sister. How
Yes.
many siblings in total? Just two?
I have a younger sister and a younger brother from my mom, and then from my dad, I have a sister and two sisters and a brother.
And you're the oldest out of all five.
And I'm the oldest from both sides. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, are you like the leader? Like, how does that work?
Um, I mean, I don't know about the leader, cause like like my siblings, like my younger siblings from my mom's side, like yeah, they listen to me, like, cause I'm like the big sister.
Mhm.
But then with my dad's side, we didn't really grow up together, and then my sister from my dad's side, we're very like alike as well, so she's very like dominant too. So it's like we're like we try to like balance each other. Like sometimes, okay, I'm taking the lead. Like we kind of like sometimes,
Take
you know.
turns.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The vibe that I get is you're super, super, super friendly, but don't mess with you.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't. Yeah,
Well,
I'm cool. I'm a vibe, but like don't try to like play me or nothing like that. Like I don't. Yeah. As
yeah.
soon as I feel like something, I'm like, you know what?
Like are you like the type to like curse somebody out?
You know what? I used to be like
Uh,
that,
uh,
but I changed because
okay.
you gotta grow up.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I'm just be like, you know what? I'm good. Like I don't waste my energy on nonsense. I'm like, you know what? You got it. You don't deserve this energy. Like
Yeah,
you're
I understand,
like
and also like a comedian is the last person that I would want to mess with because I feel like could just tear you apart in 2 seconds.
and that's another thing that I tell myself. I'm like, listen, all I have to say is three things and you're done. But I'm not gonna do that to you because I know that you're not okay. And the therapist, it's like the therapist and the comedian in me like just kind of
Yeah,
battle
yeah,
with each other
yeah.
because it's like you could finish them, but they probably got some trauma and that's why they're doing that. So it's like
It sounds like the comedian is the devil on your shoulder and the therapist is the angel on your shoulder. You should make a
yes,
skit about that.
that's funny.
You
Yes,
should make a
I love that.
you should
I
make a
love
skit
that.
about how
Yes.
the devil is the comedian and then there's like a therapist. You should make a
Yeah,
skit
it's
about
like a
that.
sweet, nice little therapist. Like,
Yeah.
no, but finish them. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting is that I feel like people who are psychologically intelligent, like a lot of therapists and psychologists, like
Uh-huh.
I feel like we have the most power to hurt people because I'm really like not maybe this is a little braggy, but like I'm pretty good at picking up at insecurities and like picking up like what made people the way that they are and like what they're insecure about. So like I'm the same way. Like if you mess don't mess with me because I know what you're insecure about.
Uh-huh. Like I know exactly what button to push to get you
Yeah,
to
I do, and I've done it in
uh
the past, and like it's I kind of feel bad about it.
yeah, then
But
you feel bad. Exactly. That's me too. Like sometimes I like wall out on somebody. I'm like, damn, that was a lot. Cause
and then
yeah.
the devil in me is like, well, they pissed you off, so they kind of
Right. So that's
yeah,
that's how I am too. Like I'm not like a bully or like I'm gonna go attack you. But if you're like trying to come for me, like, and I do something to you, like you can't be mad at me because I didn't do nothing to you first. Like if you did something to me first, then I'll. But I'm not like an initiator. Like oh, I'm gonna just go start problem. No, 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 no.
yeah.
But don't bother me because I'm not bothering anybody. So
I'm the same way, and I try my best nowadays, because now I'm 36 and I'm
yeah,
not 25 anymore or 17.
yeah.
And I try my best to like not make any decisions based on ego, especially like in business, because you're in the comedy business, right? And I'm willing to bet that either in the past or in the future, you're gonna deal with nasty people, and you kind of have to come to this decision where it's like, all right, should I be nasty back or should I be professional?
Oh my god.
Am I lying? Like, has that
Yeah,
happened?
no, that's the worst. That's like my fear too. Like cause with the content creator space, it's like you deal with people, but like people are cool. But I feel like when you get into show business for real, like there's a lot of nasty people with attitudes and like people, and I get it, cause sometimes people just be like all over the place. But it's like at the end of the day, I feel like you need to like learn to control yourself, and I feel like those people need to like work on themselves. Cause it's just like I don't know. That's something I hate people with attitudes. Like I just that oh my god to me oh my god I just ugh. Cause it's like why are you like this like
I mean, I think the answer is generally because they're hurting inside.
exactly yeah and it's like a lot of people do things and it's not like a personal attack towards you ever. It's more about them than it is about you. And even though you understand that, it's still a little bit hard because it's like bitch like
Yeah,
still
no, I
like
mean, I definitely agree that you can understand that someone is hurting inside and still get pissed off. And it actually kind of pisses me off when people say like, "Oh, like if you're truly understanding, you wouldn't be mad." Like that's actually a pet peeve of mine because
yeah.
you can fully understand like what they're going through and still get a little pissed off because they disrespected you. You know what I mean?
Right, because it's like you don't need to be letting people disrespect you. Like, okay, like you think I don't want to say certain things to people, but I hold myself back. I'm like, all right, let me chill, because
Yeah, yeah, no, but so obviously you know Nicki Minaj, and I remember she was saying in an interview, like in the industry, like the more famous you get, the bigger the personalities you have to deal with. So
Mm,
just keep that in mind as someone who's getting pretty famous. All right, so
yeah.
we wrote down a bunch of topics we didn't even get to, which is fine because the conversation was very interesting. So now
Hmm.
now we I understand you a little bit better, and let's talk about the first topic, which is taking the time to know yourself. Tell me about your story regarding that.
I think that we live in a world where a lot of people are just very distracted, and like, you're raised by your family, and you live in a certain community, and you're going to school and you're doing these things, but it's like many times because we're so distracted, like we don't take the time to like fully know ourselves. And I feel like that's important
Hmm.
to just kind of, if you're like in an interaction with somebody, how did you feel about this interaction? Was it positive? Was it negative? Kind of like just like check in with yourself every so often, see what you like, what you don't like, what upsets you, what doesn't upset you, what works for you, what doesn't, because it makes your life a lot easier, because you learn to, okay, I can avoid these certain situations because I know this doesn't make me feel good. I like this, so I can do more of this. And it's just fulfilling to live a life that you're enjoying. Like, life is short. Like, you could be here today, you don't know tomorrow. Like, why are you going to live a life miserable, or like not knowing yourself, or not doing things you enjoy because you never figured it out? And it sometimes, you change. Sometimes things you used to like, you don't like them anymore, and vice versa. So I feel like it's important for you to take time to like sit down with yourself, sit down by yourself with your thoughts. You don't need to always be on your phone, you don't need to always be listening to music, you don't need to always be around people. Like, take time for yourself, by yourself, and like, okay, what are my thoughts, what am I thinking, who am I when I'm by myself? I feel like a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is a lot of people don't sit down and ask themselves the right questions and enough questions like, why do I do what I do? Why do I think what I think? What do I think? And I think I also noticed that a lot of people need help with that. That's why we have therapists. That's why we have ChatGPT. Like, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people need help asking themselves the right questions and answering those questions. As far as knowing yourself, the only thing that I can think of is to experiment. There's no way that you could have known you liked comedy and posting stuff until you tried it. You have to
Exactly.
try to know, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I started this podcast a year and a half ago. There's no way I could have known I would have liked it until I tried it. Same thing with, because I posted a few comedy videos, not a bunch, but like I posted a few, and I realized, like I'm funny, but I'm not a comedian. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd rather like I'm kind of like a serious person in the sense that I just care more about like psychology and like therapy. And like I said, I didn't know I wanted to be a therapist until I was 35. So you have to experiment to know yourself.
Trial and error is okay. Like, if you try something and didn't go well, you're like, okay, well, at least I tried. Now I know how not to do it, or what I don't want to do. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Like for example, I could look at those like 4 or 5 comedy videos and say, I wasted my time. But another way to view it is, I learned myself. I learned like that's not really for me. I'm funny, but I'm not a comedian. Like it's, like so you have to experiment, and you have to trial and error to learn yourself. So another topic we talked about is putting ourselves in other people's shoes slash not taking things personally. So this is a good one because I feel like we all have a tendency sometimes to take things personally. So what
Mhm.
are your thoughts on this?
um my thoughts have always been like that. Like, I've always been a very empathetic person, always, like my whole life. I'm always like, oh, if something happens, I'm like, damn, but if I was that person, like, I would think like this, or I would do this and that and the third. Like, and I feel like there are many people that don't know how to do that, because we are so like just naturally egotistic as human beings, that we just think that the world revolves around us.
Mhm.
Like, we're the only ones, things only happen to us, they're only doing things to me, and that's it. And a lot of people don't take the time to like, do things and be like, you know what, if I was that person, how would I feel about that? How would I perceive that? You only seeing it from your point of view, from your perspective, from your, and it's like, no, you gotta like also learn to like understand other people, especially if you're working with people. If you're just alone or whatever, you don't, whatever. But and what was the other one? It was the
So it was kind of the same thing. It was putting ourselves in other people's shoes slash not taking things personally.
not taking things personal. Again, like we were talking about, like sometimes people do things to you and you take it super personal, and maybe they didn't mean it in the way that you took it, or maybe they're just going through something themselves, not dismissing or saying that it's okay for people to be doing stuff to you, but like sometimes we take things like extremely deep, or like we let something that somebody did like affect us,
Hmm.
cut us, and it's like sometimes that person, probably you like sad and like have that like resentment towards that person's just living their life, they probably forgot what they did,
Yeah.
and you the one like drinking that poison, you know.
Yeah. That's a really interesting point. One of my favorite quotes, I think it was from Nelson Mandela, is not forgiving someone is like drinking poison and expecting the other person
Expecting
to
the other
die.
person to mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that quote. And forgiveness is a whole nother topic, but when you don't take things personally, you'll essentially suffer less. And here's
Mm-hmm.
what I noticed while we're on this topic. What I noticed is a lot of people who are suffering a lot tend to they tend to focus so much on their suffering that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they don't have the space to focus on other people's suffering. I know some people in my head right now who are like pretty high in anxiety, pretty high in depression, and they because they're like that, they're so focused on healing that they don't really have the space and the energy to think about other people's feelings. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, the bandwidth. um
Yeah.
Also, to that point, like there's this, I don't know if, have you ever read the Four Agreements?
I haven't. No, tell me.
Oh my God, you have to read this book. It's so great. And it's short. So the Four Agreements is basically four agreements. One of them is like don't take things personal. It's like four. I forgot the rest of them.
Hmm.
But it's such a good book. It like I've read it like a bunch of times because it's like every time you read it, it's like a different perspective. It's like, oh my God, it's such a good book. You have to check it out. But they talk about like not taking things personal, because a lot of times it's because, sometimes people are not meaning how the things that you say or whatever. And another thing is, I always talk about like, you got to be kind to people, like to your point, because you never know what people are going through. You feel me? Like a lot of times people, you see them outside or you see them on social media and you think everything is fine or whatever. And like sometimes people just don't talk about their problems and they got like a million problems in their head. And you're like, oh, but this person is like being weird or whatever. Or like, and it's like sometimes people just not talking about what they needed. Like, sometimes people just like, suffer in silence. So it's like, it's important for you to be kind to people too, because you just never know. Like you don't know if like that mean thing that you said to somebody is like their tipping point of like, oh, I'm gonna go commit
Yeah,
suicide or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
So like I always try like to be kind to people, like no matter what. Like even if they're being nasty to me, mean to me, I'm like, all right, you got it. Because I don't want to be blamed for like any,
No, no,
because you never know.
I agree 100%. So there are many studies that actually prove that showing compassion is one of the most effective ways to heal ourselves, and it's one of the most effective ways, for us to basically to self-therapize, to show compassion. And back to the tipping point. That's a really good point because I think it's completely safe to assume that that person is going through something. We're all going through something.
Everybody. So it's like you don't know.
Especially in this economy, like we're all
Oh
going through
yeah. Oh,
something. Even rich people are going through something, one way or another.
yeah.
And you said, I kind of want to tie it into comedy because you know sometimes I'll see a lot of comedians who like to make fun of the people in the audience. Are you one
Yeah,
of
yeah.
those people?
Yeah, crowd work. I don't do a lot of crowd work. I'm more like a material girl where I'm like, just talking what I gotta talk. But like if there's something that ties into like something that somebody like shouted out, or like I see something that has to do with my set, I'll be like, oh yeah, you, this and that. Or like if somebody says something, but I'm not like a make fun of like roaster. I don't, no, that's not my vibe.
I sometimes I feel really bad for the people in the audience, but honestly, like it can be really hilarious what the person is saying.
Yes, it'd be funny. Yeah, yeah.
Like Andrew Schultz does this a lot. There's another comedian, I forget his name, but he does it a lot. I watch a lot of Louis C.K. But this is
Okay.
this is actually one reason why like I couldn't be a comedian because in my head, right? In my head I'll be like, you know, if I make fun of this person, they might go home and commit suicide. Like that might
Hmm.
happen. And
Yeah.
like that's one reason why like I like every time I see crowd work, I might be laughing, but also in my head I'm like,
Damn, did they,
Never
did they
mind
feel
that. Yeah,
bad about that? Like, yeah,
why, like, you're rolling the dice right now by making fun of this person. Like, you never, especially if it's a large crowd, like, they might
yeah,
go home and commit suicide. So, like,
yeah.
what is your response to that? And tell me if I'm overthinking. Like, tell me what you think.
So I get what you mean. Like, and when I wasn't like in the comedy like scene or like whatever, I'll be like, oh my god, that's so like mean. But you got to figure like people that go to comedy shows, they're there to have fun and to have a good time.
Sure, sure.
Like they're there expecting for the comedian to bother them or
Right.
whatever.
Especially the
Some
people in
people be
front.
like dragged there, so they be like kind of mad. But like most of the time, people are like they're good sports about it. They're like, oh my god, this is great. Like especially if you're sitting in the if you're sitting in the front of a comedy show, don't sit there and tell me you're not expecting the comedian to
Right,
fuck with you.
right,
Like
right,
that's like always people are always like good sports about it.
right.
Some comedians don't be dragging it and be like OD, and I'm like damn, like because there's like a way to like be playful like
Uh,
and funny, and you don't have to be like mean. But some comedians do be like a little mean. But
yeah, and I really wonder, like, what percentage of people who are made fun of, like, go home and like open a beer and like damn, like that really, because I've heard people go hard, like I've heard people call them like losers and failures and like I really,
yeah,
but to your point, like it's kind of their fault too because they chose to be there.
to like put themselves in that
Yeah,
predicament.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's okay for you to like as a like to be ODing on people and like
right,
being mean and
right,
nasty. Like playful. Like there's like a fun like oh okay like oh look at you with that outfit like where you
right.
going like this like that's funny. But it's like you like ODing on somebody like insult comedy.
Yeah,
I'm not like a fan of.
I just feel like I'm too empathetic to do that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think it's the same way. So this is a smooth transition to our next topic, which is people taking advantage of you. Let's talk about that. Do you have experience with that?
yes. Like I mean. Yeah, I do have. What do I say about people taking advantage of you? It's like It's like the same thing of you putting yourself in certain situations. Like
Hmm.
sometimes, like you don't realize people are taking advantage of you, and then some. Then you see like certain patterns. You're like, wait a minute, like this is not like I'm more like because I'm like a little bit slow in process. So sometimes things happen, and I'm just like, okay, and then they happen again, and I'm like, and then they happen again. I'm like, oh no, wait, this is like, wait, we gotta slow it down. So that's the same thing going back to like checking in with yourself and like like assessing certain interactions that you do with people because sometimes there are like users and there are people that take advantage.
Yeah.
And when you're like a very nice giving person, there are people that will use you and like leech onto you to like for everything you got, and they're just and then the givers, they're just like oh okay because it's in their nature.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to just be careful with like people that are users because they will like leech onto you. If it's like a equal, like we're yoking each other situation where like, okay, you do for me, I do for you, whatever, that's okay. But you just got to be careful for users for sure. Cause some people,
They'll use you for everything they
oh,
can.
everything. They'll take you for everything. Like,
Yeah, so there's this saying that narcissists go after empaths, like because the empaths will give them what they want, which is
oh,
power or money, or it's usually like
mhm.
some sort of control.
Yes.
I did notice in my own life, I did notice that because I used to be completely honest, I used to be more nice than I am today, to be honest.
Okay.
I used to be
Mm-hmm.
like very, very like I would always give people the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would never really put my foot down, or at least very rarely. And I
Yeah.
noticed like the less nice I got and the more I put my foot down, like the less people took advantage of me. And now like it's a really important question, and I really love this topic. And there's a part of me that kind of like wants pushback, and I'm wondering like what is your response to people who say like, I used to be more compassionate and I realized that turning into an asshole made people mess with me less, so now I'm just going to be an asshole. Not that I am an asshole, but like
Yeah, yeah, but you're like that extremity of
yeah,
things.
like I'm somewhere like in between, I guess. So I'm wondering like what is your response to that?
So I feel like you're in a good space for me. Like I feel like it's good to be somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Cause and that you realize that because there's people that they don't like sometimes it takes them their whole life to realize like that people are using them and they're just like that. Um and it's like again going back to like knowing yourself and understanding certain things because there's people that I feel like when you're like too much of an empath and you let too many people step all over you or use you, it ties into like some type of insecurity that you have,
Yeah.
that you, and sometimes it ties back to childhood where you feel like you have to like do so many things for people to like you. And at the end of the day, like, but people are gonna like you either way. Like, you don't have to like fight for somebody like, oh no, if I give them this, if I do this for them, they're gonna like me more, this and that. And that's a very dangerous game to play with people that are users.
Yeah, and what I also learned is that there are so many people who won't like you more, even after
Yeah,
you
you
give
could
them.
do whatever you do and they still not, they just like, okay, I just don't like you. And it's like, that's something that you gotta like understand too, like trying to like compatibility when it comes to friends and like relationships. Like sometimes people just don't like you, and I feel like you need to be with people that like you, that you guys complement each other, not somebody that you gotta fight to be like in their life, or to like, oh no, I gotta do this, or you feel like you gotta walk on eggshells. Like,
Yeah,
just find your people. Not, you're not gonna be compatible with everybody. Not everybody is going to like you. That's something that you learn to with stand up. Not every joke is for every crowd.
yep, yep.
Not everybody's gonna find you funny.
Hmm.
You know, so
Not everybody likes my mental health podcast or agrees with my point.
exactly, but it's okay. There's everything has its audience and its public. Like, maybe that's just not your people, and that's the same thing with relationships. I always say that. Like,
Yeah, like not everybody even cares about mental health podcasts or like
exactly, they don't.
mental health in general.
Some people just want to be crazy. They just want to be living their chaos, and that's okay. You just gotta let let them. Like Mel Robbins says, let them.
Yeah, you just got to realize that they're not for you. You're not meant to be friends or
For
family,
everyone.
or whatever the case. And what's so interesting is that there are some people, and this might sound kind of weird, but there are some people who, when you give them more, they actually like you less. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but like it could be like maybe like,
True.
oh, maybe they view you as like weak now, or maybe like, they view you as too whatever the case. Like people are weird, like
Yeah.
you're gonna meet, for the people listening, you're gonna meet a lot of freaking weird people in your life, especially like for I'm really talking to the young people right now. Like you're gonna
Yes.
meet a lot of really weird people, and you're gonna have no idea why they do what they do or why they think what they did. And I'm sure you can relate to that.
Oh yeah. So many weird people. So people
Yeah.
are just, ugh.
Yeah.
Some
No,
people, a lot of people are nice, but there are some weird people out there for sure. Like,
yeah, I dealt with so much lying, and we'll when we get to the dating topic, because we're gonna talk about dating soon, and when we get to that, we're gonna talk about like lie, because I've dealt with a lot of lying.
like
So
in relationship and dating relationships.
yeah, but we'll
Okay.
save that for the end,
Okay.
because
Okay. Okay. Okay.
now we're gonna talk about a much more serious topic, which is childhood trauma. You said
Okay.
you're okay with talking about that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine.
Okay, so you can always tell me to like shut the fuck up, or like if I like go too far,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then we'll pick it up later when with dating. We'll end with that. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to know about your childhood. Like, what was it like?
It's not funny, but
Uh,
so I grew up. It's not funny. It's just I laugh when I get like
I see that.
everything is like, yeah, yeah, it's like
I
funny.
see that.
It's not funny. Okay, so about my childhood. So I grew up in the Bronx in with my mom, and I grew up like kind of like my mom, she was in like in a domestic violence relationship
Hmm.
when we were like younger, with my dad, with my brother's dad.
Hmm.
So it's like I kind of grew up seeing that, but nobody would talk about it, or like nobody would like acknowledge it. Like, it was just like no one, like, I'm like, so this is, so I grew up thinking that this is how you like
This
this
is
is how a
love.
relationship, I thought everybody did this. I'm like, damn, so like
Yeah.
these people even just fight, like this is just like regular or whatever.
Yeah.
And for my mom, she's like a young girl, just came from DR. It's like, um it was kind of like, this is like the best I can do, because I already have a child, and then I have another child. Like, I can't, like, this is like, I just have to take it, because I'm trying to give my kids like a better life or whatever.
Hmm.
And then I was like very close with my grandmother. And I used to just be with my grandmother like most of the time. And then I moved with my grandmother to Dominican Republic when I was 8, because she was staying over there. And she ended up passing away next to me.
Hmm.
So that was like very, very, very traumatic for me. Like, still to this day, it's just
You
very
said
like,
next to you, passing away.
yeah, like we were sleeping and she like passed away like next to me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so then I had to come back home, and then I'm coming back to like this same drama. So when I was living with my grandparents, like, they were not doing that. So I'm like, okay, so, but then I went back home and I'm like, wait, this is still going on. I'm like, this is not like a thing. And I remember telling my mom, I'm like, listen, like, why are you still like letting him do that, because I was like a little bit older. I was like 8 now, so I'm like, why? And I just didn't care like to say it, because I just lost my grandma, so I could just say whatever. Like no one's like, when you're like a kid grieving and you just say whatever, nobody's gonna like, you could just
Yeah.
and then I remember we ended up moving out, and like my mom ended up moving away. But my mom, now growing up, I remember she was telling me how like it was more because my grandmother, how these older generation people are, they're like, no, because you have to just have one husband and you already have a kid from somebody else, and you have to stay, and
Yeah.
you have to like, this is how it has to be.
Oh.
So then after my grandma passed away, my grandma's not there to tell her she needs to do that anymore, so she's like, okay, like I can just do what I have to do. And then I grew up with a single mom. It was like three of us, and just growing up in the Bronx, and living with a like Spanish mom, and she's having her problems, having to pay bills and having to raise us. Like
No.
it was like a lot. So
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, and I'm really happy you brought up, the topic about how older generations are kind of like, you got to stay with them, you got to be with them, you already have kids together, and I feel like the younger generations, like us, not that I'm that young, but the younger generations tend to be more like, no, like you don't have to stay with them, like you're allowed to leave. He was abusing you, she was abusing you, like you're completely allowed to leave. So it sounds to me like you have a great relationship with your mom.
yes, now as an adult, yes. When I was younger, no, not really, because I just felt like when I was younger, like I don't know, it's like she had her problems, and then I'm the oldest, so it's like I felt like every time like I was the one that was blamed for everything that my siblings did. Like I was responsible for everything
You have to
that they
be a
were
role
doing.
model.
Yeah, like I had to be like the role model. Like if they did something, it was like I thought I was like always blamed for it. I had to like pick up my sister. Like I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do because I had to help my mom, and my mom is working at the end of the day. It's not like she's out partying.
Mhm.
But then it's like I'm also a kid. Like so like as a teenager, like I always just had to help my mom, and I'm like mad at her, and like I didn't really like my sister, because I'm like, fuck, I can't do nothing because I gotta pick your stupid ass up.
Mm.
And it's like I'm trying to do what I gotta do, but my mom is working to support us. So at the end of the day, like I can't be like, no, like I have to still do it.
Sounds like you had to grow up really fast.
Yes, exactly. And mature. Like I had to just suck it up. Like, okay, like no one cares. Like, suck it up. So it's like that kind of like just pushes you to just be like, just okay. Like still now to this day, I'm like, okay, like things are happening. I'm like, I gotta suck it up. But it's like sometimes you gotta check in with yourself. Like, am I good? Like, am I okay? Like, because sometimes you just doing things, but you're masking how you really feel or like what's really going on. So now as an adult, I feel like I've unlearned a lot of things that
Mm.
growing up, and because I feel like in the Hispanic community, that's the only community I can vouch for, because that's where I'm from. Um, like people tend to think that because we live like with a lot of authority, like you have to do what your mom says, because if you don't do what your mom says, you're being disrespectful, you're being rebellious, like you just, even if she's wrong, you have to do what she says because that's your mom, right?
Mm.
So a lot of situations where like our parents are wrong about things because that's the best they could do and that's all they knew at that time, we have to unlearn a lot of those things. You know what I mean? So it's like as an adult, I've had to like rewire myself and like unlearn a lot of things that just because I grew up and I did them my whole life, they were not okay for me to be doing. Just because my mom told me it was okay or my family told me it was okay, but they're not okay. Like, you have to like kind of relearn and like restructure yourself. So
Yeah, no,
just because you did something your whole life doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. Like,
exactly. And I really, really love the word unlearn in the context of psychology and growing, because I also noticed that there are a bunch of things that we have to unlearn in life, whether it's because our parents were wrong or whether it's because something was adaptive at one point and is now maladaptive and it's now
mm-hmm,
hurting us. So a really good example is like, maybe like there's some people in my head who growing up they had a really really rough childhood, and like they had to like kind of like always put on a tough face, and
mm-hmm.
now as adults always putting a tough face on is kind of hurting them, because now they're never expressing their emotions, and now they're like bottling up emotions. So I would love to know and to get a little bit more specific about some things that you had to unlearn.
um Something that the main thing that I learned in therapy, for me, it was like not everything is your fault.
Mm,
Like, I grew up like my mom, like everything. So every time somebody, no, it's your fault, even if it wasn't, and I'm just kind of like ingrained that in me.
yeah.
And then as an adult, every time that I would have a conflict with somebody, I was always thinking it was my fault. And sometimes other people were like in the wrong. Most of the time, it was other people that were in the wrong. And then I remember it was like a situation. I was telling my therapist, like it was like something that happened with a friend of mine, and it was like something about boundaries. So like at the time I wasn't really familiar with boundaries, and then I'm like, no, because I had to yell at him because he was just like pushing, like, and then I felt so bad that I had to yell at him. She's like, you're not wrong. Maybe you shouldn't have yelled, but you're not wrong. Like, he crossed the boundary, and you had to tell him you're not wrong for that, you know. So that was something that I had to like learn to tell myself, like, you're not wrong in every situation. Just because, you know, when you were little and something happened and they told you was wrong, you doesn't mean that as an adult every like you're wrong about everything. Like,
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that you were raised to believe that everything is your fault from your mom.
yeah, like
She- e-
anything, something like some, even if like it was like more like if my siblings did something like,
Mm,
oh, it's your fault. Like,
because you're
what?
the oldest.
Like, yeah, because I'm the oldest, so it's like I'm supposed to be responsible for I'm like, these are not my kids, like. But in my head, it's like you hear something enough, so many times, enough that you start to believe it, like unconsciously. Because I didn't even realize until my therapist brought that up. I'm like, oh my god, you're right. Like, shit. Like, she's like, every time you tell me a situation about somebody, it's always you think you're in the wrong and you're not.
Yeah, and it's so tricky because sometimes we are wrong, right? So sometimes it's like it's really tricky because we have to be able to tell when we're wrong.
When you are and when you aren't,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you know, very often it's two people's fault, and that's a concept we have to understand as well.
Hmm.
So you know, it's interesting because you're the oldest, but I'm the youngest, and like you know, it's like I don't know if I give that vibe. Do I give that vibe?
I didn't think about it.
Okay,
I
so
didn't think about it. Yeah.
and you know, like I'm kind of like the typically youngest in the sense that you know, like they did baby me, and they still kind of do to this day. Like I often go to their house on my lunch break, but at work I often go to their house and eat a meal and go back to work. But I you know I did see that they were very hard on my older sister, and one of the repeated lines was, you have to set an example, you have to set an example. So even though I didn't experience it, I see it, and
You saw it.
I've heard it time and time again because I've had, you know, many people on my podcast that were the oldest sibling, and I'm really wondering, like, how did being the oldest affect you today?
I feel like sometimes I'm just a little bit hard on myself
Mm,
about things, and I feel
mm,
like I've had to learn to be more gentle with myself and know that it's okay for me to take, like, I always have to be on for everyone. Like, I can chill sometimes. I don't have to always be there for everyone. Like, in my experience, I feel like before, now I'm learning to like not do that, where I always felt like I always had to be there for all my friends and all their problems and everything that was going on with everybody. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that. That's not your responsibility. Like, but it's just like as an older child, is like you always feel like you need to be like doing something, like you need to be like, oh no, because this person needs me, and no, and it's okay. You need to just sometimes take time for yourself and like take care of you. I have to take care of me. That's something that I learned, to take
yeah.
care of me.
So what I would imagine and what I'm hearing is that as a child, you were so busy attending to other people's needs, especially your siblings and maybe even your mom's. Is that
Yeah, for sure.
there's
For
this
sure.
concept? Have you ever heard of parentification?
No.
So it's
Where
based.
you're like parenting your parents.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Have you dealt with that or?
So my mom, she's a very strong woman. So my mom, she was going through her own things and she wouldn't even tell us. So we didn't even know, like there's so many times that my mom, like one time she got like surgery, I didn't even know. Like she was like she had cancer like in her ovaries. I didn't even know. Like my mom was dealing with, it's like the thing that I were talking about, sometimes you got to be kind because you don't know what people are going through.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my mom, she used to just lash out, but I never understood what was going on with her until like later on. Like she would tell us like as adult, oh no, because I went, and I'm like, what? I didn't even know that was happening. Like when, like, So my mom, she's very like, she just eat, like she's kind of like me in the aspect where she's like going through her things and she just deals with it herself and she does not telling anybody. So I don't know that I would say like I would parent my mom, but it's like I feel like I would walk on eggshells. I wouldn't want to piss her off. Like I'm almost like I don't want to get her mad. Like oh my god, I don't want to tell her. Like I would. Okay, so this is something I would say. Sometimes I will be going through things, and I never felt like I could go to my mom and talk to my mom
Mm,
because I felt like she just made her problem seem like way bigger, and like she was going through like bills and whatever, that my problems were like not, I felt at least, which wasn't the case. But in my head I'm like, she's this is I can't tell her that I'm somebody bullying me in school, like she like,
yeah.
or something's happening or whatever, which was a lie because whenever push came to shove and something was really going on with me, my mom would come, like obviously come and defend me.
Hmm.
But in my head I'm like, she has way bigger things, like my problems like don't matter, like I just, so
So I'm wondering, d- where did the idea that your problems didn't matter come from? Like, did she was she invalidating, or was that just in your head? Like, do you understand?
no, she wasn't. It was more of the fact that I would see her, like just see her like upset.
Hmm. Hmm.
I didn't know why, or like something was going on, like, and I would just assume. It wasn't even like that was the case. It was just me assuming based on like reading the room base.
Okay.
It's not like she ever told me, "Oh no, your problems, I don't care." No, no, no.
Okay.
She never said it. It was just me, like, okay, my mom is going through. My mom works all day. My mom has to deal with us. Like, this is, I could just like figure this out. Like, I don't need to bother her, burden her was the problem. Like, I never like to burden people.
What I would imagine is that you're probably still the same way today to a certain extent. Yeah.
For sure. I don't like to bother. Like when I talk about something with somebody, it's because it's like, all right, like I gotta talk about it for real. Like I'll like deal, like let it fluster for like whatever, and then I'm like, okay, let me.
Do you still have a therapist today?
No, not anymore.
So who do you go to with your problems?
I kind of just figure it out on my own, just journal, or I'll talk to my sister sometimes, my best friend. Um, but for the most part, I feel like therapy did help me figure some things out, and just being aware, like psychologically aware of yourself,
Mhm.
you kind of could figure your shit out. Like you're like, okay, let me boom, 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 let me sit down and like figure this out. So
Yeah, no, it sounds like therapy helped a lot, and I'm really glad that you have, people to talk to, because I feel like one of my favorite quotes is life is not meant to live alone.
mm,
We all need at least one person to talk to, if not more.
yes.
Also, like honestly, ChatGPT gives me great advice.
ChatGPT. Oh yeah. Oh, ChatGPT lately. I'm lying. ChatGPT has helped me figure some stuff out for sure. I'm not.
Yeah, which isn't even a person. Like I've heard some people say that Chat is the greatest therapist they ever had, and like I don't blame them. Like ChatGPT is genius. It's so good at like giving solid advice, and I know like as someone who's
And helping you make sense of things too.
yeah, it's really good at helping you make sense of things that are confusing. So let's pick it up and talk about dating. And this is a topic that I can talk about for a long time because I'm single, but I've had so many terrible and weird experiences. But I'd love to start with you. Like, what are your experiences like?
No, let me stop. No, I've nah, I've had like everyone. I've had like my little, not, I wouldn't say terrible, but like I've had like, experiences where I'm just like, come on, like. But I've had like a lot of good experiences too.
Okay.
Um, it's just everybody. It's just I was having this conversation with my friend the other day, and I think I'm gonna make this a slogan.
Okay.
Everyone has their baggage. You just have to decide what baggage you want to unpack.
Right. Ooh, that's a good one.
What, yes, like what works for you, what works for that person, because everybody's cooked right now. At the end of the day, everybody got their shit going on, so you got to kind of figure out like, being like how to be compatible with somebody. You're not going to be compatible with everyone, like we were talking about. Not everybody is going to like you sometimes, but you need to find a relationship where y'all both kind of like each other equally, because I feel like sometimes one person likes the other one less and vice versa, and I feel like those type of dynamics is just like, nah, like it's like there's an insecure one, there's a secure one, and or a user and like a empath, and the other one's using the other one, and it's like, no, like you got to find somebody that you're compatible with, somebody that respects you, somebody that if you want to build a life with them or you're looking for a life partner, do that. But like, it has to make sense. Just like
Yeah.
friendship, it has to make sense. You can't just be with somebody that's just taking advantage of you, or like you taking advantage of them or whatever. Like, I don't know.
So
Don't be toxic.
what I noticed in a lot of relationships is there's so many relationships where there's one baby and one babysitter, and there's like just one person like doing 90% of the work while one person is like just kind of like dragging along, and
Yes.
maybe they're addicted to alcohol or addicted to drugs or addicted to porn or video games, and like there's another person, and I've seen like both genders be the baby and the babysitter. I've seen both. So what I would imagine, because you're a comedian, you're a stand-up comedian, so I'm gonna guess that funny is like at the top of your list as far as qualities that you look for in a man. No?
Yeah, funny. But you have to laugh at my jokes. If you don't laugh at my jokes, then that we can't. We can't.
But I'm also wondering because you know what women like to date up, right? And I'm
Uh-huh.
wondering, like, as someone who is really funny, like, do you feel like it's hard to find a man who's more funny than you or who can match your humor?
You don't have to be funnier than me. You could just be like a little funny. I don't want you.
Okay.
You don't have to be funnier than me. Like,
Okay. But you
you
have
just have to have
to.
some type of sense of humor. Obviously, like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be with somebody that's gonna be like this all day.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And you have to laugh at my jokes. If you don't laugh at my jokes, that's a big one. If you don't laugh, oh my god. I remember I used to talk to this guy. He didn't laugh at nothing. I'm like, this is not gonna work. This is
Yeah,
not.
because it makes you feel like you're not funny.
I'm like, damn. Like that was a good one. Like.
Yeah, like maybe it's just. I mean, some people just have no sense of humor, and which.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And like not and it's like it's comedy to me is subjective, especially with comedians. Like sometimes there's comedians that are like successful and hilarious that people find them and I don't think they're funny. But you know, it's just about your taste and what you like.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, like, what what would you say? How do I word this? Like, what would you say is stopping you or preventing you or like or like because you're not married, right?
No.
And your goal is to be married
I
eventually.
mean if it happens, it happens. I'm not like, oh my God, like
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I noticed
For
that,
sure it would be nice, yeah.
and
But right now okay, so what you're saying, why am I single, basically?
basically, yeah, basically, I'm wondering.
All right, so right now I'm like very I don't really go out that much. And I like to meet people in real life.
Mm,
And I'm like, you know, the more you get to know yourself, the harder it is for you to find somebody as well
that's
too, because
interesting.
yes, because there's like times like I think about like guys I've dated in my past, and it was like there was a season in my life where maybe like I was like very insecure, or like I was going through something, and that relationship was acceptable for that version of myself that I was. So it's like as you evolve in life and grow and like learn yourself more, it's gonna weigh out a lot of people. You're not meant to be like compatible with everybody. So like the dating pool gets a bit more narrow once you grow more as a person, because it's like not everything that you used to find cute or funny or like thing back in the day when you were 20 is cute now. Like now I'm 33, so it's like you know doing whatever you did, like oh my god, that was funny, that was cute. Now it's kind of like, hey, we're 30, like what are we doing here?
So what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I might
Hmm.
be wrong, but what
Yeah.
I'm hearing is that the more you know yourself, the higher you'll raise your standards, the higher your bar will go. Is that wrong? Like, is that, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know about yeah, I mean kind of in a way, more like you know when you know yourself more and you're like more in tune with yourself and like okay with being with somebody or not, it's like you're not just settling for whatever. Because I feel like a lot of times there's a lot of girls that are like, you know, maybe like they're in their 30s like me, and they're like afraid, like oh my god, like I'm almost 30, like I'm not gonna, I have to just settle for this guy that's talking to me because he likes me. And maybe you don't like that guy for real, but because you have like the societal pressure and your family and everyone's like, no, I have to just, and you just settle. So it's like, would you rather settle and be like miserable, or would you rather not settle and wait a little longer and maybe find somebody you're compatible with? You feel me?
Yeah, I
Like
do.
I don't feel like I'm a settler. Like I'm not gonna be with somebody that I'm not exactly sure that I want to spend the rest of my life with.
I do. So I have to ask because we just passed an hour. I have to ask, do you
Yeah.
have like 5 or 6 more minutes? Is that a
Yeah, yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, yeah.
okay?
By the way, this is a great conversation. I'm enjoying myself, so I just wanted to, you
Me
know.
too. I'm loving this conversation. I
Yes,
have to know
yes.
like how much time do you have?
I mean, I'm not doing anything right now, so
Okay, okay.
we could.
No, because dating, like, this is like a
This is a good, yeah. This is a good, yeah. That's why I'm like, fuck. So we could, yeah. If we have to, yeah, yeah. I don't
yeah,
mind if
no,
it's
this
more than
this is
30
like
minutes.
one of my favorite topics, and I also feel like people really love to hear about this topic,
Yes.
especially from both a man and a woman's perspective. Because right now it's not two men, it's not two women, and I feel like men and women live very, very different lives. Like in the dating world, we have very different experiences,
Oh
different
yeah.
fears. Like for example, like a lot of men fear gold diggers and a lot of women fear like being physically assaulted, right? So it's like we
Mm-hmm.
deal with different fears and different things. So I feel like it's really important to have this conversation, especially with like men and women. So
For sure.
now I lost my train of thought. So we were talking.
Oh my God.
What were you saying again? I'm sorry.
We're talking about how like you shouldn't just settle just because of
Yes, yes.
societal
Okay.
pressures and
So
your family or whatever.
this is a good time. Okay, settling. Let's talk about settling because there throughout our life we always have the mentality of don't settle, don't settle, don't settle, don't settle. And like I also feel like there are people who eventually reach the point, maybe in their 30s, maybe in their 40s, where it's like, maybe my standards are too high. Like maybe my standards are just like
Maybe I gotta just.
yeah, so now I'm wondering like where is the line between no one is perfect and like I shouldn't settle for you anyway.
For me, I feel like again, like I was saying, like everybody got their thing going on. You just have to decide what you want to deal with, what you're willing to deal with, because like you said, nobody's perfect. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna make a list like of a guy, and it's gonna be every single point. Like there's gonna be a weak link somewhere there.
Yeah.
You feel me? You gotta just decide, like, am I willing to deal with this? Am I willing to not deal with this? Everybody that I know that is in a relationship right now, something that like they like sometimes they tell me about something that's going on, and I'm like, you see, I wouldn't personally, like, I don't tell them that, but I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to deal with something like that. But it works for them. It's like whatever works for you, whatever you choose to deal with. And I'm pretty sure there's people that probably like, oh, I wouldn't deal with whatever she got going on, so
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting point because everyone who's in a relationship or in a marriage is putting up with something. It's completely safe to assume that they're putting up with at least one thing that they hate about the person. I have a friend who
hmm
told me a few weeks ago, for every single partner, you're gonna find one thing that you hate, and it's gonna bother you forever. And like for example, like there's so many couples who I look at,
like with an ex-partner that you've had, like, oh, I hated that he didn't dress well, and then every time you just like that, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, basically. Or
Uh-huh.
like I'll give you an example, right? Like sometimes I'll hear about a partner who talks down to the person a lot. And in my
hmm
head I'll be or I mean usually it comes out loud to the point where I'm like why would you put up with that? Like I could not see myself being with a woman who's just constantly talking down to me. And it's
hmm
just so crazy like what people put up with nowadays, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But it's like there's like we were talking about earlier, like we talking about like users and abusers or like that power dynamic. There are people that they're just naturally weak and they're okay with that, and they're like really okay with you like belittling them, or like they're just okay with that, and that's how they feel good. They feel good like somebody abusing them or whatever, and it's like you think you're not like that, so you're just like, what the fuck, like why are they? But that's their problem. That's how they thrive. Like
Well,
every
well, I think what it really comes down to is a lot of people feel that they deserve it.
exactly that part. Yep, that part. Like to us, it's probably like, why would you even let somebody, like, I don't even like somebody like talking to me crazy. Just if you're talking to me crazy and we're in a like, who are you talking to right now? Like, are you good? Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
I'm so big on respect, but there's people that are like that. Like, they don't care. They're just like, okay, no, I deserve it. Like, yeah, like you said, like they deserve it. Like, no, you don't.
Yeah, very true. And I would love to hear like a story like of like maybe your last date or something. Like, do you have a story that you can share with us?
About my last
Your
date.
last date or like any I don't know, any interesting story that you want to share as far as dating goes.
Um, what was my? I don't
It
even
doesn't have to
know.
be your last date, just anything like that you want to share, I guess.
Like a dating story, like any dating
Dating or
story that
like
I went.
maybe even like why you and your ex broke up, like anything you want to share, anything you're comfortable sharing.
It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be bad, right?
No, it's like anything that you want to share on this podcast with the public right now. Anything you want to share?
Shit. Okay.
'Cause I love hearing people's stories.
People's stories. Okay, I'm like trying to think of like a story of like, let me see. Okay, like okay, this is not a bad story, but I'll just share it. Like I feel like the last guy that I was like dating or whatever, he was like so nice and like thoughtful. Like he was like very thoughtful, and I was like, oh my god, like this is so nice or whatever. It didn't work out because he had like some living situation that was not ideal going on, but he was like very like paid attention to like things that like conversations and like, oh, like we were talking about journaling one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, and I'm like, oh, he's like, yeah, I'm getting some journals. And I was like, oh, that's so good that you journal. I also journal. I feel like it's very helpful. We're like getting like texting back and forth about these journals. So the next time that we met up, he brought me like these very fancy like gold page journals, and I was just like, oh my god, like this is so like thoughtful and nice.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like a little thing that like people like, oh my god, like you don't need to have $1 million to make somebody's day or whatever. And I was just like, oh my god, this is so like thoughtful, like thank you so much, like I really like. He's just like, oh, I'm like, no, but this is like, because it
Thoughtful.
shows that you're like paying attention
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
to what I'm saying and to things that I like, I was just like, oh my god, like, so I feel like it's important for you to be thoughtful and like in dating and stuff like that, because people notice that, as opposed to like somebody that you're just telling them things and they're just like, wait, what? And or like somebody that you gotta like keep repeating the same story to, and like you're not paying attention to me, you don't care, like you're just. But the fact that you're telling somebody something one time and they're already like taking action to like do stuff, it's like you see the difference there. Like it's like, okay, you see, good.
Yeah, no. So one of the biggest complaints that I get from women is that the guy's not a good listener. And what I'm hearing is that like there was some sort of relief because he sounds like it shows that he was listening. And I have a story myself regarding like listening, and I've
Uh-huh.
never shared it on this podcast, so I'm happy to share it now.
Okay, okay, okay.
It's a pretty like touching story that I've never shared, so I'm gonna share it now. So my ex-girlfriend and I, we were together for 6 months. She was Puerto Rican and Dominican, and
Mm,
um
mm.
yeah, so she was a little crazy.
Spicy.
We actually did a podcast together, which I can show you. But anyway, she's still my friend today. And after we broke up, she messaged me on Instagram like 3 months later or something like that. And it was this video. The caption was how my life is going right now, and it was like some guy crashing into something with his car or something like that. And then from that meme, we just started talking, and we were discussing like our relationship because it ended very abruptly. It was like a pretty abrupt relationship. So we were kind of like getting closure and like asking each other questions about the relationship. And one of the questions I asked her was, "What do you miss the most about the relationship?" And then in my head, as she's typing in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, she's gonna say the kissing. Like she loved kissing. She loved being kissed. I used to kiss her face like a million times a day. She's gonna say the kissing. I know what she's gonna say, and I was wrong. And what she said, I'll never ever ever forget what she said. It's like tattooed in my brain. What she said was the way you listen to every word. And that's
Mm.
like one of those things that like it's like tattooed in my brain. And I realized that women just like a lot of women deal with men who are just really bad listeners, and then when they finally get one that is a good listener, it's like wow,
You're
like
just like,
yeah. And that's why a
literally.
lot of people fall in love with their therapist because they're good
Yes,
listeners.
because they think that their
Yeah,
therapist. Yeah, like I'm such a great listener.
yeah.
Like I have that, like because like the therapist in me. Like I'm always like wait, like okay, like I'm listening. Because there's people that they just listen to respond right away or to like okay, what am I gonna say after? But you need to like actually learn to listen and like okay, what are you telling me? Like okay, okay. So a lot of people like I have this thing where like there's so many people that feel like so close to me and attached to me, and it's like I don't feel like that towards them, but it's because of how I make them feel when I'm listening to them.
So you're such a good listener that they feel like there's a vibe, and you low key don't
And I'm
feel like
just
there's
like,
a
this is just who I am as a person. Like this is not a vibe. Like it's not.
vibe. Is this wait? Are you talking about friends or are you talking about men? Like, what do you?
Both, both.
That's hilarious.
Both like people that I know and like friends too. And I'm just like, this is I just like to listen. Because I'm very interested in like listening to people's perspective. Like
Yeah.
I love to like learn about human interaction, like what's going on with you. Like okay, like because I'm learning. Like it's like the researcher in me. I'm just like, oh yes, this is good. Like you see how you're like saying like, oh, I want to hear about like a dating story. Like I'm like that too. I'm like, oh okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Like
is
one thing.
juicy.
One thing I learned about myself is you probably picked this up, but I'm much more of a listener than a talker. Like I really like to listen and hear people's story because I guess that's how you learn more. So I'm
Yes.
really curious, and I guess you don't have to share it, but like, what happened with that guy with the notebook? What happened? You don't have to share it if you don't want to. It's fine. You can.
No, it was just it was like his living situation. He was like in a weird living situation. So I was like,
Would you ever date a man who's living with his parents?
I guess it depends on the situation.
Because I've heard women say like I would never date a guy who's living with his parents, especially like women in their 30s. I feel like
It depends on the situation. Like if you're having an exit plan of like getting out of there at some point, but if you're like
stuck.
just like there, like okay, I'm just because I feel like I don't know that I would. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know that I would. I feel like people because if you're living with your parents, like have you lived by yourself before and you now you're staying with your parents? Like what's like if you've always lived with your parents and you're just living there, it's kind of like.
So what if he told you, I'm living with my parents and I'm 35, but I'm planning on moving out very soon. I'm applying to jobs and I'm planning on moving out very soon. And
And he doesn't have a job and he lives with his parents.
let's say that he's like, I don't know, driving Uber, and he's saying, but I'm gonna get a job. Like I'm training to be a mechanic, and I live with my parents, and let's also assume that he has a good personality. Would you give him a chance?
Shit. I don't. I would have to. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, if somebody's like working towards something, yeah, it's fine. If you're just there, like, and you have no exit plan of like doing anything about this, then I'm kind of like,
Yeah. If you lack ambition. You know,
yeah, like I don't like people that are just stagnant. Like I feel like you should always try to be evolving in life and doing things in life that are helping you advance. Like you should not just be like, oh yeah, okay, settling. Like no, like there's more to life. Like keep going. There's more. Like
yeah, you should be progressing and trying to grow.
yeah, yeah.
There's a psychiatrist I watch every day on YouTube named Dr. K, and he talked
Hmm.
about how women don't only like successful men, but they even like men who are just really ambitious, even if they're not successful yet. Like they like men who want who plan who
Want
have,
better for
yeah,
themselves.
who dream big and who are like making moves.
Yes, because sometimes you don't you it's not there. Like sometimes you're still figuring it out and it's not all there yet, but you have a plan. You're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and you see the person working towards something that's like even for you is like motivational because you're like, okay, this person's doing what they gotta do. Let me also boom, boom, boom. That's
Exactly.
something that I notice about myself too. I'm very like influenced when I'm like dating
Mhm.
a guy. It has to be somebody that's like doing also like moving towards something and doing something because it motivates me because I'm like around them all the time. So it's like, oh, they're like, oh no, let me wake up early too. Let me
Yeah.
do what I gotta do. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you have really big dreams clearly, so it wouldn't match if you had a guy who just like wanted to be a full-time Uber driver. Like it wouldn't you would be on different pages because you would be too ambitious for the guy. And
yes,
now I have a funny story. So for some reason, I don't know why. I really don't know why, but for some reason there are some women who assume that I live with my parents. I don't know why. Like maybe it's because I'm the youngest. Like, but sometimes like I had a coworker ask me the other day like, have you ever lived by yourself? I'm like, I live by myself now. What are you talking about? She's like, oh, I thought you lived with your parents. I don't know why. And then I've even had people like, not just women, but even like male coworkers and male friends. They assumed that my mom did my laundry, and I'm like, bro, I live by myself. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, I thought you brought your laundry to your mom's. I'm like, I don't know why people like make these weird assumptions about me. Maybe it's because I'm the youngest. I don't know.
mm. I don't know. Maybe it's your look. I could see why people would say that. You
But
look like
how do I
you
look?
give like you. I don't know. Like your look is giving like I don't know.
Like
Like I'm staying with my parents for a little bit. I'm trying to
yeah,
figure.
maybe it's the shirt. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it's the shirt. Maybe it's the color. Like it's like okay, yeah. I'm just living with my parents right now. I'm just going.
I don't know. I don't know why people assume that. I think I don't know what about me, but
It's so funny. What
people
gives that I live with my parents?
yeah, like they just assume it. I'm like, bro, like what are you talking about? It's like sometimes it's even like my male friends. I don't know why. But anyway,
That's
so
so
we're
funny.
at an hour and 18 minutes. I ran out of questions. Was there anything you wanted to ask or anything you wanted to say to wrap it up?
Um, Not really. Just figure yourself out, man.
I agree. I agree. I know.
Figure yourself out. And don't let people take advantage of you. And it's okay if not everybody's gonna like you. Like I feel okay, okay, I do have a message.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So for girls in their 30s, right? Don't feel bad or don't like let like this consume you that you're like going on dates or whatever and maybe it's not working out or maybe you're like meeting people and it's not working out because we're not meant when you're like a special person and you're like on the grind and like not you're not going to be compatible with everybody. We're not meant to be compatible with everybody. Like the dating pool is going to get slimmer.
Mhm.
The more you want in life, the slimmer it's going to be. It's also like when you're trying to be rich. You feel me? There's like the 5% and then there's the 95%.
Yeah.
Most people are broke,
Yeah.
like a little tiny people are rich. So that's the same thing with the dating pool. If you want like somebody that's actually worth it and that's you're compatible with or whatever, it's gonna be like this little bit of men that
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
gonna fit that description.
Mhm.
But if you want to settle for whatever, you do that. But it's just gonna be you don't need to feel bad because it's not working out with most men because it's not supposed to work out with every guy. Like most guys are gonna be not it, and then you're just gonna find that one guy that one day you're gonna be like, okay, this is the guy. This is why everything else didn't work out. So
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to the standards because, like, I feel like a lot of people, especially young people, like, have a really difficult time figuring out, like, exactly how high they want their standards to be. So, for example, as far as rich men go, only about 1% of men are millionaires. So, it's very tough to like, and we have to be realistic as men and women. We have to be realistic about what we want and how long it might take to get that person. But it was great talking to you, Sherry. It was a great conversation. It was fun. And we're definitely going to have a part two sometime soon. Hey guys, it's Chris. Hope you guys liked today's video. And if you want to see more mental health videos, please subscribe. And if you don't want to, that's okay too. Peace and love.